Hey, my friends, good evening. How are you? Welcome to another edition of Wednesday Night Live with me, Mike Avery, here in my home office, the home studio. JT, good evening, buddy. How are you? Yes, much less confusing. Randy, good evening. Patrick, good evening. Johnny Bowler, buddy, how are you? Can't wait to see if I get that bear tag with you, Johnny. Let me check something over on Facebook. Let me check my headroom because they look different. And O'Brien looks pretty good on Facebook. Okay, I stopped it. Tim, where'd you go? Tim, good evening. How are you? Jeremy, nice to have you along with us. Jerry, always a pleasure, buddy. Hello, Ed. How are you? Johnny Bowler, the Skeeters are bad up here. Aren't they always bad up there? Brian, nice to have you along with us as well on this edition of Wednesday Night Live with me, Mike Avery, here in, I was going to say the Outdoor Magazine radio studio. No, here in my home office. Let me see if I can make an adjustment in my volume. How's the volume sound there? It seems a little low on my end. Ricky, good evening. How are you? Hey, Craig. How you doing, buddy? Always a pleasure to have you along with us. And you know what this is, right? If I'm here on Wednesday Night Live or here in the studio, this is what I'm drinking out of. And Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation. A little, Craig says a little low. Brian says sounds good. Well, let me see here. I think I've got it up. I might be able to turn it up. Oh, that's going to be too much. Is that too much? Is that too much right there? Is that too loud? Is it distorted? Or is that just better? Hello, Bruce. Thank you, Tony. I appreciate that. Yeah, we're going out tomorrow. I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be bumpy tomorrow. But no, it's not better. Why, Ed? Is it distorting now? Craig's the only one who said well, Craig says it's perfect now. Now Ricky says it's too loud. You guys got to make up your mind here. What do you want? 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. There, I'll turn it down just a little bit. On YouTube was better before. Okay, I'll do a happy medium here. I boosted it up just a little bit, but to see if I could keep it from going into distortion. You guys are so fickle. I've turned you into such audio and video files here. It's crazy, right? Hey, Pastor, how are you? Appreciate you joining us tonight on Wednesday Night Live. How are things in your world? How are things in the beautiful northern part of Michigan? Pastor, I'd imagine you're waiting to see if you got a Michigan bear or a Michigan elk tag. I know I certainly am. June 24th, I believe, is the day that we will all find out. It's muted. Just kidding. Yeah. We will all find out if we got our Michigan bear or our Michigan elk tags. You won't get an elk tag. I won't get an elk tag. You might get a bear tag. I might get a bear tag, but you're not going to get an elk tag. Somebody is, but it's not going to be you or me. Uncle Johnny, how you doing, buddy? Always a pleasure to have you along with us. Mike, good evening. Thanks for joining me on this edition of Wednesday Night Live. I'm going to talk about a couple of things tonight. My recent fishing adventures. True, Joe, there is always the pure Michigan drawing. That's what I say. I always say if I ever get a Michigan elk tag, it's going to be through the pure Michigan hunt. It's not going to be by drawing an elk tag. Lane, good evening. Nice to have you along with it. Lane, I don't recognize your name. So thanks for joining us. I appreciate you spending at least part of your Wednesday evening with us here tonight on Wednesday Night Live. Hello, Gene. Gene's the guy who put the new tubes on my angler quest. What will we be talking about today, Gene? iHeart. I don't know why iHeart did not update the podcast from last week. Everything looks good on my end. I don't know. I don't have an explanation. David said it could happen because you got one, didn't you, David? Yeah. You got a bull tag. Ed, patiently waiting to see if my boat will be out of the shop before the weekend. What's going on, Ed? What kind of problems are you having? Boat problems, motor problems? What? James, good evening. Appreciate it. I'm real curious to see what Ed's got going with his boat. Hello, Dennis. How are you this evening? just because I'm curious, let me go over here to I wanna see what that audio sounds like. Oh, it's lagging so far behind me, I'll never see it. Greg, I don't think the audio was bad before. I think it was pretty good. What was it? Okay. Still didn't see it even after I saw you this morning. I don't know what it is then, but I appreciate you letting me know about it, Gene. Thank you very much. Okay, so did you get a bunch of rain coming through your place today? We got a real nice, good soaking rain this afternoon now. It's cooler, a little bit of mugginess in the air, but it's certainly cooler. There's a little breeze. I am fishing tomorrow. Motor issues. $1,300 into it, and it's still not right. I'm sorry to hear that, Ed. I hope things get. I hope you get that worked out very, very soon. Oh, Sir Lancelot, one of my favorite people in the world, Lance Valentine of Teaching Fishing. Good evening, Sir Lancelot. How you doing, buddy? Lance, been thinking a lot about our phone conversation from the other day. Hope things are going well for you. Gene says you're welcome. Looks like you got some sun there. Yeah, if I did get some sun. I've been out in the sun a lot, and it was either going to be fishing on the Angler Quest, on the golf course, or sitting in a lawn chair watching my granddaughter Addison's softball game. So one of those three things was going to put me out in the sun. Yeah, I have seen some sun lately. I see tomorrow when I go out, I got to put some sunscreen on my nose. Dan, how are you this evening? Appreciate you joining me on this edition of Wednesday Night Live. Lance, you're going to be going live tonight at 8. Lance is one of those guys that if you don't follow Lance and you like to fish, you're probably making a mistake because Lance has it dialed in. I'm going to be out tomorrow morning, Lance. I've got a crew of friends, and I think it's going to be a little bit bumpy. I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it out to where I was hoping to go. If not, I can stay in protected water. Donald, good evening. How are you? Not this week, next Wednesday. Okay. All right, Lance, I understand. Good to hear that you're back in the saddle or getting that way. Can't wait for you to share info. I can't wait to pick your brain when you come. I was going to say share info with you, Lance. No, I'll be calling to ask questions. Although if I have intel, I usually give it. Not usually, I always give it. But hey, Dave, how are you? Headed to the ortho tomorrow. Surgery looks imminent. Well, Lance, since you brought it up, is it a some kind of a tear or is it arthritis that has wrecked the joint and you need to get a new knee put in, or don't you know yet? Lance is a little bit under the weather. He's he got a pretty, I was going to say sore knee, but it goes beyond that. Last thing he needs to be doing is be out on Saginaw Bay bouncing around in 2-foot waves. So good luck on that tomorrow, Lance. As a guy who has had 2 knees replaced, I can tell you that if that is what you're looking at, it's the first one is kind of scary because you don't know because you've never been through it before. But my knees feel great. They've both been replaced. A tear. Okay, a tear. Terrible pain. I've never had a tear, so I can't relate to that. But good luck, buddy. Johnny said, I've had 7 different people see bears this week. You haven't seen one. Well, Johnny, you're the bear whisperer. How can that possibly be? The bear whisperer. Our mutual friend, everybody, Nick Grillo of Michigan Brand Meats, who is often on here with us, is in Ontario right now, White River, Ontario. He's hunting with Ron St. Louis of Northern Wilderness Bear Outfitters. As of the last time I talked with him, he had not shot a bear yet, but he's had some remarkable experiences. He said he had the biggest bear he's ever seen in White River come through the bait this morning. Didn't stop. He was just cruising. I don't want to take away his thunder, but I'm going to have him on the radio show next week to talk about a situation he had today, or maybe it was last night, where a bear actually came in the blind with him. Can't wait to hear that story. Jim just went to Rapid River Knife Works, bought a double-edged fillet knife, and my daughter bought her a fixed blade hunting knife. So what did you think of Rapid River, Jim? Is it everything I've made it out to be? Chris checking in from Kansas. That moose picture was very cool. That was actually sent to me by a guy who is up in White River right now, Jim Liska, I think. Jim Liska. And he is hunting in White River with Ron and with Nick and that whole crew up there. And I've never, as much time as I've spent sitting over bear baits, I've never had a moose come in. I've seen moose on the way into the baits. I've seen moose on the way out, but I've never seen a moose come into a bear bait. I have seen a wolf come into a bear bait. That was pretty cool. Johnny says he's ready to start baiting them. I'm ready to have you start baiting them too. And Johnny tying one to a tree. Right? I don't know. I'd say it's 60-40 that I will get a tag this year for Newberry third season. No guarantee, but I feel quite optimistic. Okay, some things I want to talk about tonight. And if you were with me this morning, some of the same topics. I've spent quite after tomorrow, I will have been on Saginaw Bay 3 out of 7 days, which isn't bad for a guy who's still working. Never seen a moose. Gene, they're a really interesting animal because they're so tall that they look gangly and they look awkward and clumsy, but they're actually so ugly and homely that they're beautiful. So I am fishing tomorrow morning. I'm hoping the wind doesn't blow too bad, and I'm hoping that I can get some kind of something going tomorrow to get my confidence back. My confidence level right now after the last 2 trips is a little bit shaky because I've really had to struggle the last 2 trips, and I've been in the right spot. I thought running the right thing, just not with the right results. Now, yes, we've had a riot. We've had a lot of fun. Fishing isn't about catching, but it's nice to catch too, right? Especially when I've got people who want fish. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. I have a feeling that if I just pick a spot and work the heck out of it, that I'll get fish tomorrow. But we'll find out. We'll find out. Scott, I have a question for the Forwards Company if they can reach out to you. There's nobody from Forward on here tonight, Scott. We usually don't get anybody. Once Jason Wolverton left Forward, we usually don't have anybody from Forwards on here. In fact, Jason is the one that him and his family, him and his dad and uncle are the one I'm taking tomorrow. Ed, when I'd much coming back on radio? When I'd much? I don't know what I'd much means. Hello, Jeff. Good evening. How are you? Scott Hand, I was hoping you'd check in tonight. Walleye for Warriors just a few days away. Full on captains and veterans. We have personally contacted every veteran for confirmation to attend, ready to roll. So that is Saturday and Sunday. This Saturday and Sunday at Linwood Beach Marina on Saginaw Bay. If you want to come and support our troops, support the veterans, they will be coming in the channel at Linwood Beach on Sunday afternoon. What is it, Scott? 1 o'clock? 1 o'clock they'll be coming in. Correct me if I'm wrong. But it would be real nice to get a good showing there. It's very impressive. A lot of flags set up there and some patriotic music. And it's really a very, very nice deal. I will not be out there Saturday because, again, I'll be on the sideline of a softball field. They'll be coming in from 1 to 1:30. Thank you, Scott. 1 to 1:30. I will not be there Saturday because I'll be watching my granddaughter Addison play in the regionals for softball. Jim, good evening. How are you? Facebook isn't working. I tried much. Okay, MUCC. Amy Trotter of MUCC, she was just on a couple of weeks ago, so she will not be back on for another 3 weeks. I'm sorry, 3 months. I like to have her on about once a quarter. Shannon, good evening. How are you? Appreciate you joining us on Wednesday Night Live. I saw that yesterday, Ricky. All Bay City hotels look like bass boat dealers. I was in Bay City last night, and I saw that you're right. It looks like a bass boat dealer convention. Excellent, Tim. Hopefully be cleared from his rotator cuff surgery so I can get back on my boat for some first-time fishing. I hope so too, Tim. Neighbors up at the cabin saw a nice big bear cross the road in front of them the other day. I'd love to see it bite the area. Bears are beautiful. I'm telling you, I cannot get enough of seeing bears. I think they are a beautiful, majestic, mysterious, wonderful animal. They are my favorite animal to hunt. If you said, Avery, you've got a choice, you can bear hunt or you can whitetail hunt, and one or the other for the rest of your life, I would take bear hunting hands down. Hands down. I got you, Ed. I got you. MUCC. And to answer the question, again, Amy Trotter will not be on for another 3 months. Speaking of fishing and Nick Grillo, Nick Grillo of Michigan Brand and his dad, Mike, also called Butch, were on the boat with me last Friday on the Angler Quest with me Friday. And again, we struggled. It was one of the days we struggled, but we had a nice conversation, a really nice day on the water. And they were telling me that many of the dealers that they have across the state are a result of people hearing me talk about them on the radio show. So I'm just throwing this out here. If you have a gas station, a party store, a little novelty shop, whatever it is, and you want to talk to the folks at Michigan Brand about carrying their products in your business, I bet you can work something out. Either reach out to them directly, just tell them you heard me talking about it on Wednesday Night Live, or if you want, send me an email to Mike@MikeAveryOutdoors.com. That's Mike@MikeAveryOutdoors.com, and I will put you in touch with them. Excellent. By the way, did we eat those pike? Charles, I did not. My buddy Tony took them home. He filleted them out. He chunked them up and he pickled them. He sent me a picture. They're in a jar right now being pickled. Jim said, I heard MUCC does not support the extra rod license proposal. Is that true? Well, there are parts of it that are true, because when MUCC went into their convention last spring, they had a resolution in opposition to that proposal. However, that resolution failed. So MUCC did not come out in opposition of, because the resolution failed. Now, they have not come out in support of yet, but they are not in opposition to. Craig said he saw the pelicans Saturday while fishing walleye. Pretty cool to see them in flight there. It's amazing, isn't it, to see those pelicans on Saginaw Bay? Absolutely amazing. I agree with you, Craig. Very cool. Last Monday, got everything on number 7 flickers. That's what I'm running, number 7 flickers. And also an occasional new, what's the new Roman? The PWC Light. It's either Bill Norman or Bill Lewis. I can never remember which. The bait that the Romanax helped design. It's the Precision Walleye Crank Light. It has the same dive curve basically as a number 7 flicker shad. But the thing I like about them is the hooks are very solid. If you have fished flicker minnows or flicker shads, you know that the hooks are garbage. They're absolutely junk. If you catch one fish on a flicker minnow, you're going to have to certainly retune it and probably replace the hooks. The hooks are garbage. As much as I love those flicker minnows, the hooks are garbage. Jim, haven't seen any bears yet up in Paradise at Whitefish Point. The rain just came through, though. Did you need it, Jim? Was it dry? Okay. Oh, so it's no secret. My last couple of trips, I've struggled. I think I'm going to wrap my brain around this, and it's going to switch maybe tomorrow. But I was thinking, well, since I can't golf, since I stink at golf, since I can't fish, I stink at fishing. Maybe I'll just go out and play a round of golf. Well, guess what? I went out and played a round of golf, and I stunk at that too. Adam says he replaces the hooks before they catch that first fish because they're junk, aren't they, Adam? Absolutely junk. Bill Lewis, he's been using the PWC lights a lot, and he loves them. I love them too. They seem to run very true. They don't get jacked up like the flicker minnows do as far as getting all out of shape, out of wobble. And the hooks are outstanding. Ain't going to happen, Ed. Ain't going to happen. May have to switch to crawlers. Honestly, I have nothing against crawlers. Crawlers catch fish, but I don't want to run them. I don't want to run them. The thought of trolling at 1.3 miles an hour drives me absolutely bonkers. And if Lance Valentine is still on here, I'm sure he would second that because Lance trolls faster than I do. But the thought of putting along at 1.3 miles an hour, pulling a crawler, I wouldn't enjoy it. I wouldn't enjoy it. Craig says the hooks must be tempered. Hello, Lee. How are you tonight? Appreciate you joining us on this edition of Wednesday Night Live. Okay, so speaking of golf, the first annual Mike Avery Outdoors charity golf outing is coming up Monday, July 29th at the West Branch Country Club in, obviously, West Branch. We're filling up nicely. I have no doubt that we will fill up and get a full field for the outing. Exactly. Look at this. Lance said, "Yeah, he'd fall asleep going that slow." I can't troll that slow. I can't troll that slow. I would not enjoy it. It would frustrate me. Mike, are you really busy the first 2 weeks of July? Hoping to be back home and catch some fish with you. Unfortunately, Chris, I am really busy the first 2 weeks of July. Pretty jammed up. But let's stay in touch, though. All right. I'll get to it, Ed. I'll get to it. Live bait works for Brian when he hand lines are running anywhere between 1.2 and 2.4. Oh, 2.4. That's in the river, though, right? Not that that matters. Yeah, I couldn't do it. I could not do it. And, it's not because crawlers are dirty, because you can rinse them off. It's not that big a deal. I couldn't do it. Bernie said, seeing that moose at the bear bait reminded me of the 7 moose that went past me when I was bear hunting in Ontario. It was a great time for me to see that close. 7 moose? Wow. Oh, and Lake Huron. No, Lake Huron. Pretty cool, Brian. I've seen moose in Ontario, and I've also seen moose, in Michigan. And I've seen them in Alberta as well. I was whitetail hunting in Alberta one time. I was up in a tree stand, and we heard crunch, crunch, crunch. And I thought, oh, here comes a flock of deer, a herd of deer, a school of deer. And it was a cow, moose, and 2 calves. Very cool. It is hard to believe it's June already, isn't it, Jeff? 1.4 to 1.8 was the magic speed Monday. I control high ones. I can do, if I get the right wind or throw the bags out, I can physically get the angler quest down into the high ones, 1.8, 1.9. And I could do that. Don't want to, but I can do that. I can't go 1.3. All cows and calves. Pretty cool. Greg sold his meat market. Have to learn how to fish again. Have fun, Greg. Congrats, too, on the sale. So the field is filling up for the tournament. It's an outing. It's not really a tournament. Again, we're raising money for MUCC's youth camp. All proceeds will go to MUCC's youth camp. Now, the entry fee pretty much pays the expenses. So the gravy or the proceeds for this event are primarily going to come from sponsorship. We've got some people coming on, including, some people on here tonight. Craig Plowman made a very generous sponsorship donation. Uncle Johnny Craves did the same. Security Credit Union, Yider Insurance, Linwood Taxidermy, and I don't want to, I don't leave anybody out, but those are ones that come to mind right now. So thank you for that very, very much. But I would really like to see more sponsorship levels coming in tomorrow or to the tournament. I think we set the entry level too low. You can get in for $150 for sponsorship, and I actually think that was a mistake looking back on it, probably too low. But we'll take that $150 because if we get enough of them, we can make money for MUCC. So if you are at all interested in playing and or sponsoring the event to help raise money for MUCC's youth camp, go to the website mucc.org/golf, mucc.org/golf, where you can sign up. No, I really don't fish for anything other than walleye these days. Angler gear trolling rig. Randy says he's not going tomorrow. Too windy. I haven't pulled the plug on tomorrow yet, Randy. I'm going to get out to the boat I'm going to get out there early and see what it looks like. Randy, you know where I love to fish. And with that wind direction, if I can at least get out there, we will be protected. So I'm cautiously optimistic that I can at least get these guys on the water and maybe stay in there close and get them a few fish. That's what I'm hoping to do. But, what I hope and what Mother Nature wants or what she delivers are often two different things, but you know that. Crystal Light. When I'm done, my wife Denise is going to go for a short run, and for her, a short run's like 3 miles. I'm going to go for a bike ride with her. But when I get back, thank you, Randy. I appreciate that. All right. All right, Lance. Listen, good luck to you, buddy. I hope things go well for you tomorrow with the doctor. I hope he can get you in quickly and get that thing fixed and get you back up on the water and get you out of your pain. So, praying for you as a lot of others. Lance, you're a good guy, and we think the world of you here. All right, Chris. Thanks for joining me. Have a good evening the rest of your night at work. I appreciate you being along. Oh, I had something that was interesting that happened, and it's kind the timing was kind of good because I can't fish apparently, and I know I can't golf. It was nice to find out about this. This is a award from the Michigan Outdoor Writers Association. And I hadn't mentioned it before because it's not a first place, it's a third place. So it's not like I was the top dog, you know. But I did get recognition from the Michigan Outdoor Writers Association in a contest they have that's called their Mort Neff contest. It's for broadcast and social media content. And I find it interesting that nowadays, though I am into uh, podcasting and radio more than anything, that I would actually get an award for video work. And the award was for the last minute bear hunt. It's a video piece I put together for YouTube about bear hunting in White River, Ontario, Canada. So thank you for that. Thank you. I appreciate that very much. Craig, there is so much room on that Angler Quest. Honestly, that's one of the things I love about that boat. There's so much room. How do I get a hold of? I don't take charters, Ricky. I don't take charters. The only charters I take are charity charters. I don't run paid charters. I can put you in touch with people who can get you out there onto some fish, but I don't take paid charters. I only do trips for charity fundraisers. Good evening, Jerry. How are you? Kimmy, how are you? Have a great night as well. I don't know what 475 feet of cable means. 10 miles an hour, south-southwest at 10. That's the same number I was seeing, Randy, that's okay. I can live with that. Whether my crew can live with that or not, we'll find out. Yeah, it's for my TikTok work, all my work on TikTok. I actually put a couple things up on TikTok just today. So in addition to that recognition from the Michigan Outdoor Writers, like I said, it's called the Mort Neff Award, which is very cool because I actually knew Mort Neff. I spent time with Mort Neff. Mort Neff, in some ways, was a kind of a mentor of mine. When I was first getting started, I would send Mort videotapes and ask him to critique them. Oh, that camera is really jacked, isn't it? How did I not notice that before? Oh, man. Do you feel like you were falling off the edge of the screen? I do now that I look at it. Oh, that's because it's all weird. And Mort never would have been able to dream of what we can do these days. That's still wonky. Oh, well. So anyway, that was very nice. Thank you, Patrick. Appreciate that. Matt, good evening. How are you? And then the second thing I heard was, there are a lot of different podcasting platforms. And one of them is actually one called FeedSpot, and FeedSpot named Outdoor Magazine, the podcast version of the Outdoor Magazine radio show, as the #1 outdoor podcast in Michigan. So cool, right? Is it possible to be allergic to pike but no other fish? Absolutely. Think I am just pike irritated tightening. Yeah, I'd say absolutely it is, Rabbit Homesteading. I'm no doctor. I'm no allergist, but it certainly seems to me that absolutely you could be allergic to just one species of fish. I think I'm allergic to those slimy buggers too, because we put 2 big ones in the boat the other day and the boat stunk. I had a towel. Pro fishing tip. If you bring pike in the boat and then you wipe the slime off your hands with a fish towel, do not put that same fish towel in the back of your truck on a 90-degree day and let it sit there for hours. Because The back of my truck until I aired it out smelled pretty bad. Thank you, Jerry. I appreciate that. Yeah, I hope we can make it out tomorrow too. If we can't, we can't. Spring tension on the cable is easy. Matt got to listen to two of my most recent podcasts, Apple Podcasts. Thank you, Matt. Appreciate that. Hello, Joe. Nice to have you along with us. You been out working? Did you get slowed down by the rain today, Joe? Had to work a lot later this evening. Pike are great. Like I said, my buddy Tony is pickling those pike. Evening, Tommy. How are you? Hey, Tommy, I noticed that your daughter was with you this morning, and I did not say hello to her, so I apologize. She's an absolute sweetheart. So if she's with you this evening, hey, kiddo, how are you? There's Ron right there. Hey, Ron, I was just talking about some of the cool experiences that your hunters are having on this hunt right now. Ron St. Louis is the owner, and I've got his comment up on the screen right now. He is the owner of Northern Wilderness Bear Outfitters in White River, Ontario, Canada. Right now, some of my friends are up there with him. Charlie Wiltsey's up there with him from Primal Outdoors. Nick Grillo of Michigan Brand is up there. Nick Grillo said he had a very, very close encounter with a bear in a ground blind either this morning or yesterday. Nick is going to join me on the show next week to talk about that and more. You saw the video that I posted of Jim Liska, who was sitting in a bear bait and a moose came in. How cool is that? Did that rain come? I know you had rain coming through, Ron. Did it keep your hunters out of the woods this afternoon, or do you have people out right now? Met Mort a few times with my dad, various events. That's how I got hooked in the outdoors. Skinny and young. What we are. We were young and skinny and stupid. It's amazing how time can take its toll. Joe, small engine repairs today. Held off cutting with a forecast of 2 p.m. Weatherman Willow didn't come till 5 here in Cass City. You know how those weathermen are. Can't trust them. Blake and Papa were in Montana last week. Blake is Scott's grandson. Papa is Scott. We took out about 450 gophers with a 22 long rifle, 1,500 rounds in 3 days. Had a blast. Literally had a blast. Charlie's group tagged out, and yes, we have hunters out this evening. Excellent. I'll say it again. If you are looking for a very, very cool experience, maybe something a little different, maybe something a little unique, you've never bear hunted before, or you're a veteran bear hunter, I can't recommend Northern Wilderness Bear Outfitters strongly enough. They have a spring season that's going on right now. They have a fall season that is mid-August. It's not really fall, it's late summer, but they call it the fall season. I think Ron is pretty well booked up for this year. You might reach out to him. He might have something open for you. But it's a really, really great experience. Your odds of seeing bears are very good. Your odds of getting a shot at a bear are very good. It's just a lot of fun. It's not a physically hard or demanding hunt unless you want it to be. I mean, for the most part, you can drive fairly close to your baits. I'm not saying they're going to be close to town. I've had baits that were 40 miles from town before, but that's part of the adventure. I was watching old Fred Trost before remembering you were on. Oh, that's funny. I was actually on Fred Trost too. Many years ago. I will work on the iHeart thing. Try to figure out what's going on. I don't know. On my end, it looks good. Oh, do you hear about this? DNR kills 31,000 Atlantic salmon with BKD in the hatchery. I did not talk about this on this week's radio show because I actually have Ed Eiche, who is the guy quoted in this. I have Ed Eiche. Let me check what Johnny just sent me. Oh, I've always known that, Johnny. Ed Eiche. I'm going to have him on the show next week. Scott Hand. Well, Scott, I can't guarantee I'm going to be there bright and early. I mean, there's no real reason for me to be there when they take off, right? Just when they come in. The boat is wonderful, Joe. The boat is running. I don't notice any difference at all. It's running great, but it was before. I just need to get my crap together and get some good mojo going. John, do you have video of you with Fred Trost? No, the video of me on the Trost show was with Bob Garner. They had a big fish night, and I brought in one of the early Saginaw Bay walleye up there. A 31-inch fish was only 8 pounds, and Bob Garner. Johnny Bowler just sent me a picture. I can't share it with you right now. I probably could, but I'm not going to go through the hassle. It's a picture of Johnny. It's a selfie. It's a black T-shirt, and in white writing it says, "The man, the myth," and in big letters, "The legend." Johnny Bowler, indeed. Any interaction with Jerry Chiappetta? Not really. I never really worked with Jerry much at all. 1984-ish. No, probably not back that far, Charles. Probably, 86-ish. Yeah, 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 yeah. I mean, it goes back a ways. It goes back a ways. Okay, so this will be on the show next week. And, it sounds like a big deal, but the DNR is saying statistically, it's not that big a deal. I mean, there's a lot of people who have high hopes for Atlantic salmon, but this isn't going to decimate the program at all. At least not according to the DNR, Department of Natural Resources. So let me tell you who is on the show this week, the Outdoor Magazine radio show this week. Right here's the rundown. Boom, there you go. That's all you get. Yeah, but I wasn't with Fred, John. That's the one. That's the one I'm talking about. In fact, it's posted here on the Facebook page. But I was I with Fred? Oh, you're right. You're right, John. Thank you for reminding me. I was on stage with Fred, and it was Bob Garner that was doing the voiceover. So yes, if you go, when I'm done here, if you go to my Facebook page and you scroll down or just click on the video tab, there is video. Thank you, John, of me on stage with Fred Trost. I was much younger and Fred was still alive. Bob Garner's a good guy. Good guy. And not that Fred wasn't. Not at all. MUCC, correct? MUCC what, Johnny? Okay, my first guest this week on the Outdoor Magazine radio show, heard on more than 30 stations across the great state of Michigan. His name is Don Miller. Don is from Motor City Muskies. Motor City Muskies, millers-sportfishing.com. He is a veteran Lake St. Clair muskie angler. We talk about that. A lot of fun. Then Tom Campbell of Woods and Water News joins me. Let me go to a couple of comments here. No. Well, Garner worked for Trost, and Trost at the time did not own. I don't believe MUCC at the time owned the Michigan Outdoors Show. They did for a while. Eventually realized it was a bigger job than they wanted, and they sold it to Jimmy Gretzinger. I don't think I've ever had Bob on the show. Meeting, my buddy attended the meeting, MUCC. Bear meetings, Higgins Lake. What's Ted Nugent like? He's a very good promoter. He's extremely intelligent. He's sharp as hell. He's quick as can be. He has a very sharp tongue. I believe he has good intentions. I think he's very effective. And I think that he doesn't turn it off very much, meaning that he's always on. He's always on. He's always on. If you get him in private, when I mean like private with just you and him or you and a couple of people that he trusts, he lets it down. He lets the energy level, maybe not the energy level down, but the verbal barrage slows down a little bit. Really, I think he's a very, very interesting guy, and I think he's a good guy. Miller's a great guy. Had a boat slip, catch musky. Don Miller. Oh, nice. Jim Payton, the weatherman, Muddy Waters. Yep. Those two guys were pretty cool. Hey, no worries, Tommy. No worries at all, buddy. Okay, in the second hour of the show this week, remember 2 years ago when a guy named Lloyd Tanner caught a new Michigan state record flathead catfish of 53 pounds, 53 and a third pounds? I had Lloyd on the show shortly after that happened. And I invited Lloyd back to the show for this week. Now, I did not know that Michigan Out of Doors TV reran the piece of Lloyd a couple of weeks ago. So it wasn't like I was cherry picking on them. We just happened to think along the same lines. But Lloyd, I almost said Lloyd Carr. Lloyd Tanner is on the show this week to talk about catfishing in Michigan. Then Bill Piles of Ohio Bow Hunting Outfitters joins me to talk about going south of the border to bow hunt for whitetails. Now, I am not going to be able to make that hunt this year. My daughter Shelby decided she was going to have her first baby the same week. At least that's when it's due date. The same week that we're supposed to be down there, which is the third week in October. I can't do that. I can't miss that to go bow hunting. So I'm not going to be there this year. But there are still some openings for that week, and Bill has other openings for the rest of the season. Good operation, lots of big beer in the area. Oh yeah. Yeah. I can't do it, Ed. Can't do it this year. Witty and educated, in your opinion. Yeah, absolutely. OhioBowhuntingOutfitters.com. If you would like to take advantage of one of these hunts, send me an email to Mike@MikeAveryOutdoors.com, and I can put you in touch with Bill Piles. In the third hour this week, a very well-known Michigan outdoorsman. His name is Gabe Van Wormer. You might know Gabe from working on the Michigan Outdoors TV show. You might know him from working on the Fishing 411 show. You might know him. Rob is still alive, as far as I know. I don't think he has a TV show anymore, but every once in a while he will check in here on Wednesday Night Live. Grandpa Avery. Yeah, well, this will be my 5th grandchild, actually. Yeah, he used to check in here once in a while. And yes, I like the term Grandpa Avery. And Gabe's YouTube channel, Full Quiver Outdoors. And of course, we wrap it all up with wild game chef extraordinaire Dixie Dave Miner. Randy, are you still using the offshore board release so the board goes straight back? Yeah, I am. You talked me into that, Randy. I release it, right? I release it. I don't use the snapper release like I used to. I use the orange clip, the orange release that comes with them, and I do the twist thing that the Romanex came up with. And it seems like it's working pretty good. I mean, if you got people on the boat who buy into it and can understand it and can make it work, yeah, it's definitely the way to go. So thank you for that. I appreciate that, Randy. Yeah, thank you, Joe. Appreciate that. Okay, so what do I need to do here now? Let me do this thing right here. You know what that means? It means we just filled 45 minutes. Elmer, how are things in Petoskey? Has the rain gone through there yet? Yeah, you tuned in just in time, John. What's the deal? Company there? Wink, wink, nod, nod. And I say company in Ross Elliott's vernacular. Company means his girlfriend. Oh, what else? Ooh, I lost my comments. There we go. Sunshine in Traverse City, Tommy says. Sunshine here now, although it's starting to get a little bit later. Still got time to go. Denise, my wife, for her run, and me for the bike ride along with her. I'm looking forward to that. Be a nice night to take care of that. My name is Mike Avery. Thank you, Tim. The show is Outdoor Magazine. This is Wednesday Night Live. My website is Mike@MikeAveryOutdoors.com. That's Mike@MikeAveryOutdoors.com. I'm sorry, that's my email address. The website is MikeAveryOutdoors.com. The email address is Mike@MikeAveryOutdoors.com. Love to hear from you. Don't hesitate to reach out to me. Thanks for joining me this week right here on Outdoor Magazine.